to make mistakes. That's part of learning. The constant change. When I graduated in 2007, Facebook was to college students. That's it. That's all there was. There was Facebook, there was MySpace, and I think Blogger, I think was the one that was out there. So I knew Facebook. I knew all about Facebook because I was on it for college. And then in 2009, when they opened it up to business pages, we got a business page. It was a big learning curve to learn all of this and learn how to talk to an audience, not in I think, because that's how Facebook, you guys won't remember because you probably were on it, but that's how it was, had a status button that said, I feel, or I want, or I this, and that was a big learning curve, and it's still changing. It's still always changing, and it's going to be here to stay. There's no way to get away from it by any means, and the only way to keep learning it is going to professional development conferences, going online, doing webinars, seminars. There's lots of those available. It might take 20 minutes out of your day, but it's worth it to learn to put yourself up against another job applicant or a student or whatever it may be. Disgruntled guests is another challenge. The biggest example I have is we send out a newsletter twice a year to guess who stayed with us in the last year. We had a guest that I sent it to, and he wrote me on his typewriter a letter asking me to remove him from our system. So I did, no problem. His name was Bob. I removed Bob from said system. The next year, same time, he gets a newsletter again. Writes me back. Here we go again. Copied what he originally sent me. I asked you to remove me. Well, he stayed under a different name. So how was I going to know that he was receiving the same piece of information? And he was genuinely upset about getting a piece of mail. And that was really hard for me to understand why he'd be so upset about a piece of mail. I don't know if it was a bad memory, but that's part of the everyday challenges that I have to deal with. And then online reviews, like I said, TripAdvisor, Yelp, we're constantly monitoring those. Those are things that you have to constantly monitor. People will post about bad experiences over good experiences all the time. They will post, if they had a bad meal, they will take a picture of their dirty dishes. They will take a picture of an empty tapper. They will take a picture of a server with their shirt tucked in. They will take a picture of a dirty bed linen. That's bad. That's not good for us. But if they have a great experience, you won't hear from them all the time. People like to talk about the bad before they talk about the good, which is really hard to understand because I'm in this industry and I would love to talk about the good before the bad, but other people just don't want to do that. So that's a big, big challenge too.
How do you handle those things? I'd love to learn, what do you do? Yeah.
When I see them, I read the review, then I call the manager. If it's at the Weatherbean restaurant, I'll call the Weatherbean restaurant. There's a TripAdvisor review. They said there was an example of a screaming chef. That a chef came out screaming at a guest. And I called, do you remember this situation? Why was it here on Sunday? Okay, well, what manager was on duty? And we try to work together to find the problem. And when we always respond, whether it's a good one or a bad one, and you will never win an online argument. If a guest will tell you that they booked a room for $39 on hotels.com and we didn't honor it, you could go on and on and on about how it says in the policy that it's not always guaranteed and this, that, and the other. You will never win the argument with that guest. But we always respond, good or bad, to every single review that we have out there. We try to offer it with a first name, a phone number to call directly, just try to make it right, even if the guest is wrong. In our company, the guest is always right. The guests are the reason we open the doors. So we always make sure that the guest is happy, whether they're lying or whether they really didn't have a bad experience. So just a response is always really important to do.
I'd be curious when you guys do your interviews with your sites as you start to see how they handle situations that were just described like that. I mean, think about these questions that way too, because it not everybody does it that way, Becky. whole bunch don't.
It's a nonstop job. I can be laying in bed at night, which I shouldn't do, but I do, to check online reviews and make notes of what I need to check up on. And I have alerts sent to my email, so they just automatically come.
And how do you do that? Because these guys can do it too.
Well, you have to claim the business page. You have to claim that you are the owner of the business page. Go through all these steps, do a telephone verification, and then it can send you emails every time there's a review. There's a couple people that get the reviews besides me, which is great because all of our management has bought into this and they know how important it is. So they are constantly watching those as well, which is a huge help on my end because I'm not in the restaurants every day. I'm not in the hotels. I don't know if on a Saturday night the wedding band was too loud and they were calling to the front desk. I don't know these things. So it's really helpful that we know all of that, and then also our managers bite into that as well. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the keys that I think are important to succeeding, and these are what I have learned. Building relationships is huge. I built a relationship with Patty when I was a student at Central, and we've stayed in touch ever since. We've seen each other at tourism conferences. Anytime I need help, I'm sure she'd be willing to pick up the phone and help me. Another one is that I mentioned, Diana Sampler. I met her in the class that I was in Patty's, and now she just recently moved to Petoskey. And we had lunch this summer. I took her on a pointer boat ride, and she wrote an article for a rather large publication in Michigan about boating in northern Michigan. Would she have included the pointer boat in her article had I not taken her to lunch? Probably not. So it's really important to continue to nourish those relationships as uncomfortable as it makes you, because it was very uncomfortable for me to go up and be like, "Hi, I'm Becky Babcock from Stafford's." That was really hard for me. That's just not who I am. I'm a shy person at times, and I've kind of broken out of that shell because I realized how important it is for the company. And you never know who you're going to meet. We had a half-page photo in National Geographic of the Perry Hotel when they did a Hemingway conference 3 years ago. I have no idea who put that in there. It could have been someone I met at a conference. It could have just been someone staying at our hotel. It's just important to break out of your shell and to just put yourself out there. Continue learning, like I mentioned, with the social media, going to webinars, seminars, conferences, even as a student. That's important to do. When I was at the Michigan Governor's Conference on Tourism that was held here in Grand Rapids in April, there was 1,000 tourism professionals from the state of Michigan there. I was so impressed with the students that I saw from Grand Valley. I've seen students at these conferences before. I won't name the school because that's where I'm from, but the year before when I had seen students, they were all on their cell phones the whole time. Technology is great and technology is important at those, but when you're there in a networking situation and you're on your cell phone the whole time, that just will turn people off. The students that I saw at Grand Valley, they were engaging. They were going up, they were introducing themselves to tourism professionals, and that was great because the sooner you get out there, the more your name is going to be out there, and you never know who you're going to meet. You can meet someone at a job fair who has an opening for a marketing position that might not be posted, but they like you and they see potential. Try and try again. This is probably the biggest thing that I could tell anybody. Good marketing doesn't come on the first try. It doesn't come on the second try. It might not even come on the third try. You have to constantly try. You have to constantly revise things, research things. Projects will take you days, hours, weeks. I'm going to give you a most recent example is this newsletter. We do this twice a year. It's our biggest marketing piece of the season. It has all of our Thanksgiving information, Christmas information, really important information. It took me about 18 hours to put this together by the time I had gotten all the information from the properties, designed it, and guess what happened? My computer crashed. I lost it all. Even though it was backed up, I lost it all. So I had to go back and rebuild it. And when I look back at the first draft, it became even better. So my computer crashing was really a good thing because the newsletter became that much better after I had time to sit and cry over it because you had put so much effort into this. Sorry, losing train of thought here. And then join committees. That's Traverse Way Committee, which is a group of tourism professionals in northern Michigan that came together because if you go to northern Michigan, the tourism is like none other. People are friendly. They want to be there. And we wanted to be able to give that experience to all the frontline people at stores, at hotels, at restaurants, for companies that couldn't necessarily afford to have a hospitality training company come in. I also serve on the Petoskey Area Visitors Bureau Board. I serve on there with about 9 other hoteliers in the Petoskey area, which is Boyne, Boyne Falls, Harbor, Alanson, Petoskey. And it's very interesting and very helpful, to be honest, because I'm around the table with my competitors, but we all learn from each other. We learn through collaboration, we learn through talking about things, ideas, and our main overall goal is to promote the area as a whole. And so it's important to be a part of that and to know what's going on and how your little foot can make a footprint in the tourism industry up there overall. And this is probably the one thing that I'm going to tell you is to experience it. If you do not believe what you are promoting, your guests will not either. These are 2 pictures that I just chose to share. My 2 nieces and my daughter on the end. We're at the Creek River Lodge. We go there swimming in the winter and in the spring. We walk around the grounds. The kids love it. I work there. It's hard for me to go there and take my work hat off, but going there and watching other people experience it, I see why people want to go there. I see why they want to come there. Posting pictures like this on Instagram and Facebook. Where is this? I need to go there. Experiencing it is very important. You can sit here and talk all day long about the great food that you have, but if you don't go to the Drawbridge Bistro and try that halibut that chef has been begging you to try, you're never going to know how great it really is. I took that picture when I was on date night with my husband. Took it, posted it on my Instagram feed, on my personal Facebook. It went crazy. My friends are like, where is this? Where are you? Because they're so used to the traditional Stafford's food. And I don't know if any of them went, but they all know that I'm actually eating there. So it must be good. I believe in what we are promoting and selling. And then here is another picture of my family and I at Sunday brunch. Again, this is a tradition for many families. They love to go here. Every summer they ask, when do we get to go to brunch? Even if we just go once a summer, that's always a tradition for them to do it. And it's so exciting for me to see that my family has embraced what I promote because they ask to go there. I don't push it on them, they ask to go there. I want to go there for brunch. And the other thing to really